νομίζω κάνει φοβερή δουλειά στην Ομόνια.
And we call taxi, and with Kilian I open the door behind, I put him in the taxi, and I close the door, and I want to go inside, and Kilian go out there.
You're gonna get someone messaging you afterwards saying, "Why did you mention me?"
Hey, fuck.
She say, I cry because you are here today.
Πάμε να καμουφτιάω λίγο αμπρεγά από τα μέσα.
See that? I've got a big cloud of smoke because I've got my new, or should I say my old vape stick out because I'm celebrating. Why am I celebrating? I'll tell you in just a moment. Welcome to the No Chocolate podcast on the OLB, the Alpha podcast in Cyprus Mind. Like, subscribe, tell your NOUNA, head over to OLB24.com. We've got No Chocolate t-shirts. I'm not wearing it just now because I've got my beautiful Omonoia jacket on. I'm your host, Stel, and this is a very special edition of No Chocolate because we have, number one, a special guest because we're going to talk about, number two, a potential new signing. We've been talking about it. Make signings, announce a new player. Henning Berg even said, we're only going to sign players who are better than what we've got. Well, this is debatable, but we've got Nik, a.k.a. Slovenia One, a Slovenian football expert to talk about Tim Matavz. Have I pronounced his name correctly? Have I absolutely killed?
You were actually pretty close, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nik. How you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing great. It's a really nice day, and especially when a Slovenian player is joining a new club, it's always nice to hear.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm trying to be very careful not to say Slovakia because we've had Slovakian players at Omonoia, and I've got so used to saying Slovakia, now it's Slovenia. Yeah? Slovenia. Wasn't it Zlatko Zajovic? Wasn't he a Slovenian? See, I remember that player. See, right. So, Nik, before we start, tell us a little bit about yourself, mate, and what you do, because I found you on Twitter, of all places.
Yeah, basically, I'm a football referee in Slovenia. I just started out a few years ago. And other than that, I'm usually at most Slovenia national team games where I either spectate or I volunteer now as well. And then also I'm on social media, just doing a bit, just covering a bit of Slovenian football every now and then and things like that.
And your English is excellent. That's the first thing I'd like to say. Your English is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So, Nik, we're looking to sign, or we're close to signing Tim. I'm going to call him Tim. I'm not going to say his surname. I'm just going to call him Tim, like he's my friend. He will be my friend one day, I'm telling you. So, what is it about this player? I know that he's scored like 11 goals for the national team. He's left Bursaspor in Turkey for whatever reason. I'm hearing it's financial problems. They can't afford to pay his wages. They owe him money. He's played for PSV Eindhoven. He's played for Vitesse, both teams in the Netherlands. What can you tell us about this player?
So he started his career in the Slovenian league, of course, since he comes from Slovenia, in the region that's close to the sea. In Gorica. Gorica back then were one of the top teams in the league. They played in the first division, and he was obviously their main striker. And that's where the foreign clubs also found him. That's how he got to Netherlands, where he had his best years of his career at Vitesse and later on in PSV. He was in Vitesse. He was really a star, or a young up-and-coming star. Some people thought he would be like one of the best strikers in the future, but unfortunately, a few injuries and a bit of he was a bit unlucky as well. So he didn't get to that standard, but he still had a pretty nice career. Got to a lot of different clubs for a few pretty decent fees. I think he went to PSV for 7 million. So back then he was really looking to be a really good striker, but it didn't really work out for him. But hopefully he can regain some of his past form in Cyprus.
So the first question I want to ask, and there's a question straight here from Joseph, and he's asked: is he the type of player we call a killer, or is he a playmaker?
He used to be definitely a killer or he still is, because he's pretty tall, so he should be good in for heading and for finishing off the chances. He can drop back, but mostly he's gonna be that final touch player.
Well, that's good to hear, because this season on Omonoia we've struggled for goals, and we've been looking for another striker to not only score the goals but give a little bit more competition for places, because effectively we only really have two strikers, out and out strikers, and the goals haven't been coming this season, which have obviously contributed to a pretty average season, given that we won the league last year. But I've seen a lot of his goals on YouTube. Now, I know you can't really use YouTube as a way to gauge how well a player is, because look, YouTube can make me look like Messi. You know, all I need to do is do a few kick ups and add some trance music and some graphics, and I'm the best player in the world. So in terms of his finishing, like I said, I've seen some of his goals and they're very impressive. So why would he be in Cyprus at 33 years old?
As I said, his career has dropped off quite a bit since his prime days in Netherlands.
Is that because of injuries or anything else, do you think?
He had a few injuries, yes, that's one part, and also I don't know, he just couldn't find his fit in like bigger leagues, I think, because he went to Augsburg in the Bundesliga, and he didn't really do that great there when he was there for, I think, a year. So I think these smaller leagues are much better for him. I think he's more suited for them. Smaller leagues
Of course,
compared
to, of course. Yeah. So what would you say are his main strengths? Because you mentioned how tall he is. But given the videos that I've seen, again, I can't really pass judgment, but he looks like a very good finisher. Left foot, right foot. He's not the kind of player that would he's instinctive as well. He doesn't need to take a touch in the box. One chance and that's it.
Yeah, that's mainly what he does. Yeah, he just finishes off the chances. But let's hope he does that more frequently than he has in the last few years. But I think he's gonna do well. I think he could do well. Yeah.
Is he still playing for the national team? Does he get called up? Do you know?
The last time he got called up was for the last Nations League. There he played. I don't think he scored. He just played a few minutes. But for the last qualifiers, he wasn't called up. No.
Right. So in terms of competition for places in the striking position, who's he up against?
Well, obviously there's Benjamin Šeško. He's the striker for Salzburg. Really, probably a striker that has similar potential to what Matavz had when he was young. And also András Sparar, who plays for Middlesbrough. He's also ahead of him. And now there's another up-and-coming striker in Celar. He plays in Switzerland. I think it's Lugano. And yeah, those are the three main players. Also, there used to be Robert Beric, but he also has some problems right now. So yeah, those are the players that are mainly ahead of him in the national team.
Because he's not the only Slovenian in Cyprus. I think there's a player, he's a central midfielder that plays for Anorthosis. I can't pronounce his surname. Vrhovic, is that the one?
Vrhovec.
Vrhovec, yeah.
Vrhovec. He just joined them, right?
He's just joined, joined. So I don't know if he's, because we're actually playing Anorthosis tonight.
Yeah.
So it'll be quite interesting because, you know, Tim is at the hotel with the players today. And the other player that we mentioned, he could be in the first team for all we know. He joined from Maribor, I think. Was it Maribor?
Yeah, he was like a kid from Maribor's child. So he was like there his entire career now, I think. He was there for a good few years, and it was actually to me quite unexpected that he left. But Maribor are dealing with some problems as well, since Verhovec is like a really quality midfielder. He was the key to Maribor's midfield for the last 3 years, or maybe even a few more.
And you have one of the best goalkeepers in the world in Oblak.
Yeah,
He's your number one. There you go.
Thankfully, we have him. Yeah.
There you go. So going back to Tim, then last January, I wouldn't say this time in January, but at the beginning of January, we signed Marko Šepović, who went on to score 8 goals last season, which helped us win the league. This season, obviously, Šepo hasn't been as good as he was last season. I think he's only got 3 or 4 goals in the league this season. But obviously, we need goals. Do you think it'll take Tim a bit of time to get used to the Cypriot way, or is there a chance that he will hit the ground running and we might see him scoring in his first game?
Well, you never know, of course, but I wouldn't say that he will need so much time. I mean, he's used to playing in the warm regions. He's played, I think it was it Qatar right now?
That's right. Yeah.
So I think he could get it. He could start scoring pretty soon, maybe even in the first game, but we'll see how it goes.
Brilliant. Well, while we're talking, I'm going to ask the viewers, if you've got any questions, feel free to put them in the comments section. We're going to answer as many questions as we can. We don't want to overrun for too long, so we'll give it another 10, 15 minutes, and then we'll see. Look, see, we've already got some supporters here. There you go. So what else can you tell us about this player, Nik? We've spoken about his goal-scoring ability, his physicality. What's he like off the ball? Is he the kind of striker that likes to drop deep and collect the ball? Because as I said, from what I've seen, he's very intelligent in terms of his movement in the box. He likes to find the spaces.
Yeah, I think he's mostly in the box. He's not the most like of the strikers that do a lot of work in defense. He's mostly forward and just basically waiting and just being in the attacking situations. Since he's not the fastest, so he has to use his expertise,
his intelligence, experience,
in the box, that he gets those chances, that he finds the open spaces to position himself well to then have a chance of scoring goals.
I'm not going to lie, Nik. For the past 2 years, I say about a year and a half, I've been doing this podcast with my colleagues. What we've been saying is that the defending in Cyprus isn't particularly great, and a lot of defenders watch the ball, not the player.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of opportunities for him to score goals. And the thing is, another incredible statistic from talking to a friend of mine that's into analytics, Omonoia have created more chances this season than last season, even though we won the league, but we haven't been scoring. So on that basis, I'm quite confident that he will score goals, but it's all about getting settled. And I think that's the most important thing. But as you said, he's used to playing in these regions. He's played in Turkey. He's played in the Middle East. He knows the culture. All right, the language might be difficult, but at the same time, there's other players from that region at the club. We've got Adam Lang, who's from Hungary. We've got Hubachan, Slovakia. I don't want to get them mixed up. As I mentioned, Marko Šepović from Serbia. Very similar Balkan region. So I'm guessing that will help him settle. Would you say that's fair?
I think that will help him a lot, especially the player that you said from Serbia. The Slovenians and the players from Slovenia and Serbia usually connect pretty well, since it's a similar region, and these players are usually, it's easy to communicate to them, and they usually do pretty well together.
Brilliant. Fantastic. I've got a question here. Stel, you heard the rumors about Jankovic. Yeah, I mentioned him at the beginning, and I'm going to try and get someone else on the show to talk about Jankovic. That's another player that we're linked with, a number 10, who, again, we've been crying out for a while, and he looks like a very decent player. But we won't talk about Jankovic. Now, we're going to talk about Tim. It's all about Tim here. Come on now. Right. Joseph, something that surprised me was that in his most recent post, all Bursaspor fans were chatting shit about him and wanted him to leave. Now, Nik, I know there was a bit of a contractual problem between he and the club. They owe him money, as far as I'm aware. They're in a lot of debt. They could get relegated. Do you know any more about this situation with Bursaspor?
Not really, unfortunately, because it's a bit far, the Turkish league. But
And you've just heard about this as well. This is new to you, isn't it?
It's in Slovenia. It hasn't even surfaced really. I just saw a tweet from I saw it just a few minutes before the show. I saw a tweet from a fellow Slovenian that also talks about football, and he tweeted exactly about that he might be joining you. So I think today it's gonna be a story in Slovenia in a few hours probably.
Excellent. Now the question here: can he take the team on his shoulders? And I guess that's suggesting that is he a leader? Is he the kind of player that the rest of the team can look at and think, yep, he can carry us?
Well, he hasn't been the captain usually in the teams he's played and in the national team either, but he has a lot of experience, as we saw. He's played in a lot of leagues, so I think that could help him a lot in leading the team as well, since he's played in so many different clubs and he's gone through a lot in his career. So I think that could help a lot.
Brilliant. Is he coming 100%? Nick, as far as I'm aware, he's at the hotel with the players. That's from what I've been told, from what a lot of the newspapers, or should I say the websites are suggesting. He could be having his lunch right now, I'm guessing. I don't know, depending on which hotel he's staying at, because the hotels in Larnaca, there's some really good ones. If it's a Stel, that's a brilliant hotel. I'm just saying, not advertising or nothing, Nick, did you know anything about the Cypriot League before? And of course, anything about Omonoia? I'm guessing the answer is no. But that's fine, because not many people know about the Cypriot League anyway.
Yeah, not much really. I've heard more about the national teams since we played you quite a few times in the Nations League, I think, even. Was it?
I think Tim scored against us in 2012, if I'm not mistaken. I think he may have scored against us.
Yeah, I think I was just checking that. I think he did, yeah. So he was, he played against you, so maybe even that's gonna help a lot.
Yeah, no disrespect to the Cypriot national team then, but even my grandmother could score against them, and she's dead. So, anyway. Sorry, man. Another question. Can you ask him to compare Tim to a famous player, playing style, finishing? Are there any players that you can think of that he's very similar to?
Well, I just recently I did a bit of reading on him, and when he was younger, but this is obviously when he was younger, when he had a lot of prospect, he was compared to like Rivaldo and R9 and players like that. They said that was his potential. Obviously, he's not that kind. He didn't reach those heights. But in terms of play style at the lower level, still, that's probably what we can compare him to if we go on the big scale. So yeah, those kind of players, but on a smaller level, of course.
Brilliant. Well, Nick, you're getting so used to saying Tim now. I'm going to get my sleep when I wake up. I got Tim. That'd be a bit awkward. So Nick, this is the part of the show which I let you ask questions and I let the viewers answer. So if you've got any questions about the club, anything that you want the viewers to answer, feel free to ask, and I'll give them a bit of time to type their answers because sometimes people type slow. So yeah, here you go.
So basically, so how is it actually looking for the club in the league this season?
Okay. That's a good question, and it could be a long answer, Nick. But I'll break it down for you. At the beginning of the season, we started the season as champions. We lost a few players. Some were on loan, some were sold, and they were the ones that were on loan went back to their parent clubs. And we brought in some signings, which were great. It was absolutely great. But the thing is, we had the Champions League qualifier. Then we got knocked out of that. We had Europa League qualifiers. Then we got knocked out of that. Then we went into the Conference League. And as you can understand, when you're a team with a squad that isn't really big, without the quality to push you forward, there's going to be repercussions. And obviously, our league form has really suffered. Now, that's not to say that we've regressed a lot. The teams that we've been up against have improved. So whereas last season there were 2 or 3 teams challenging for the title, now we've got 5 or 6. So the league has improved. The other teams have improved. Our rivals, who we absolutely detest, have improved in a very big way, and they're still signing players. So it's up to us to change things. Now, I'm not making excuses, but there's been a lot of factors that have contributed to the way that our season has gone. We've had injuries, as many teams have. We've had COVID. We've had Mother Nature cancelling games. You know, just little things here and there. We had a potential takeover for the club that fell through. The president's assistant had a bomb blown up outside his house. Just little things here and there. We've had, again, lots of things have happened, but I think the good thing about this club is that everyone is together. Yeah, you've got fans that don't like certain elements of the club, like the manager or the president, but the majority of the supporters are together and the players are together. I think that's the main thing. They don't lose that team spirit. And I've never heard of any arguments in the club, not for the past couple of years anyway. So I think Tim is coming at a good time. It's a good time for him because he gets the chance to get his career back on track. Plus, it also helps the club because he's hungry and he's got a point to prove. And as you mentioned, with Marko Šepović there being from Serbia, another striker, if those two can hit it off, that'll be brilliant. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of potential. And as I said, we're creating more chances than we did last season. So I think the potential is there. There's still a few games to go before the league splits. So we can challenge for honours. We still got the cup to play for. Mm-hmm. He's coming at a good time. I'm just hoping that it's not too late. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
It's a long answer, isn't it? I did it in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, it was a good answer.
Brilliant.
But did you qualify for the Conference League, or did you get knocked out in the last stages?
We got to the group stage and we got knocked out. We came third. We played FC Basel, we played Karabag and Kairat from Kazakhstan, and we didn't win any of the games, but we got some good results. Got a couple of draws here and there. And I think the team is it's evolving. You know, I think the manager is the right man for the job. He's trusting in youth, which is very important for me anyway, because we've got a very good academy, and we've just sold one of our players to Sporting Kansas City in the United States, which is a big deal for us because that doesn't happen in Cyprus, you know, and he's one of our academy players. He's 20 years old. And we've got a few other players who are still breaking into the team. So there's potential. But I just think that this season, we need to focus on getting a respectable league position, challenging for the cup, because we're not going to win the league. It's impossible, but it's looking a little bit unrealistic. So, but hopefully we'll qualify for Europe, and Tim can get his opportunities in the Conference League or the Europa League, whichever league we play in.
Yeah, that's great. So basically, you have like a similar case to Mura in Slovenia. Mm-hmm. They also won the league last season and qualified for the Conference League, where they got knocked out as well. And in the league, they struggled at the start as well. So I think they've recovered form now, just a few months before the break in Slovenia. So a pretty similar story. But Mura had one really big thing that happened to them in the Conference League, where they beat Tottenham from England. So that was really big for them.
Yeah, and I believe the striker at Mura has gone to play for AEL in Limassol. The guy that scored the winner in the last minute, I forget his name.
Marosha.
Is that him?
Yeah, I think it was Amadei Maroš.
Yeah, he scored the winning goal against Tottenham. I think, wasn't it like in the last minute or something? I believe he's gone to play for AEL, which is a club in Marosha. That's right. Yeah, number 71. Yeah, he's gone to join the AEL in Limassol. So it's another team in Cyprus. There's another Slovenian player. See? There's a comment. There's a comment here I'm going to translate. So this player, Tim, has played 16 games. He scored twice and hasn't had any assists. And the club that he played for hasn't won in 8 games. Now, that doesn't really reflect on the player, though, does it? If the team isn't doing well, it doesn't really. Okay, you can say that his goals to games ratio isn't great, but you're looking at a team that hasn't been creating chances, that hasn't been winning games. So how do you expect him to score?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's going to be a completely different case here than it was in Turkey for him, and in the other leagues as well. I think this is going to be a lot better for him than what there was in the last few years.
Excellent. Well, Nik, thank you so much for your time, mate. Before I let you go, is there anything that you would like to mention? Your YouTube, your Twitter, anything like that maybe our listeners can can tune in and see what you're doing. You need to do more YouTube videos, man. I've seen some of your content. You need to do more YouTube videos. There's a market for Slovenian football, especially now that players are leaving to go into Europe. You can make some serious money on YouTube, my friend.
Yeah, I need to try and do them more regularly. But yeah, it's on YouTube and on Twitter. It's the same handle as here, so it's Slovenia 1. So if you want, you can check me out there. I'll be
there on the scrolling right at the bottom, right there.
Yeah,
lovely.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll probably be covering some more of Matavz, especially if he joins you guys. We'll talk about him as well, since I hope he does well and scores a lot of goals for you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Well, Gobelia, that's it for another episode of the No Choftes podcast. Tomorrow, we have our review against the Godes. Hopefully, we'll do them. Hopefully. And then we're also going to announce the T-shirt winner, which is obviously on our plans. OLB24. Visit the website and you can see all the T-shirts that we've got. Let me know if you want to order some. We'll get them all sorted. And yeah, that's it for another episode. We'll be back very, very soon. So until next time, Gobelia. Pomyśl,